Okay, today we're either here to talk about the hottest quarterback in football or the most important thinker ever.
Even though we love Cam, Isaac's the one we're after. The smartest dude this side of the common era, a man who used his genius to understand so much about the world around him and helped us better grasp what happens around us.
Born on Christmas Day of 1642 in Lincolnshire, England, Newton was widely considered to have Asperger's syndrome. He kept to himself mostly and rapidly rose to the top of his class. However, with weak extracurriculars, we can only speculate if he would have gotten rejected or deferred on his early app to Harvard. He eventually settled for Trinity College in Cambridge.
At that time, education curriculum was based solely on the teachings of Aristotle. But besides the standard learning, Newton studied more modern philosophers and scientists like Descartes, Copernicus, Galileo, and Kepler.
Newton isolated himself from women as he was busy building the foundation for Mr. McBride's livelihood and power.
Let's talk more about the main concepts he introduced in his book Principia Mathematica. In the book, Newton laid down the foundation for infinitesimal calculus.
Newton also did great work in cementing the binomial number theory, which plays a great role in maths ranging from algebra to calculus.
Newton and Gottfried Leibniz worked in parallel to establish the ins and outs of fluxations, along with integral and differential calculus. Let's all pretend we understood what those words meant and quickly move on.
Thanks to a plague outbreak, Newton bolted from Cambridge back to his home in Woolsthorpe. Newton was supposedly the star of the local soccer team. However, despite his dominance, he wasn't the most popular member of the Woolsthorpe Willies, seeing as he routinely missed practice with the excuse, "No guys, this time I really am onto something."
Newton's study of optics analyzed the fundamental nature of light through refraction with prisms and lenses, the diffraction of light through closely spaced sheets of glass, and the behavior of color mixtures. He published all his findings in a book called Optics. For all his talk about how smart this guy is, you think he might be able to spell optics right.
Or maybe we've just got it all wrong. Newton's work with diffraction and refraction may be the only thing standing between Doc Moment and daytime sitcom stardom.
Okay, speaking of Doc, let's talk gravitation and mechanics. It's thanks to Newton that we understand the fundamental idea of gravity and universal attraction. Those free body diagrams look a lot different without his help.
Newton extended Kepler's work to prove the elliptical nature of planetary motion and extended some of his calculus progress to define the universal law of gravitation.
Newton's work strongly aided the heliocentric view of the universe. He used mathematical proofs to understand the motion of planetary bodies. This improved on Kepler's work because Kepler calculated planetary motion assuming that planets had zero mass. As planets clearly have a lot of mass, Kepler's calculations were simply an approximation.
And approximations don't fly with Newton. Newton combined Kepler's observation and his new laws of gravitation to remove the last thread of doubt from the science community's mind on the validity of heliocentrism. One afternoon, with no exciting cricket games to attend, Newton decided to slap together the three laws of motion. The first law was the law of inertia, the second was F net is the product of mass and acceleration, and the third was all actions have an equal and opposite reaction.
A true empiricist, these laws lay down the foundation for classical mechanics and are the basis for modern physics. And besides inventing calculus and physics and ruining high school, Newton delved into theology and alchemy. If you looked up the word polymath in the dictionary, there's just a picture of Newton astride a majestic sea creature.
Cam Newton's Superman celebration may have been more fitting for Isaac. Touchdowns are fun, but there's something pretty super about developing modern math and science.